All right, the next element we run into down here in our content area is the callout section. And so that's the callout box over here. I'll turn back on these text things we added earlier so we can kind of see how that's looking. And we'll zoom in on this section. So there's our callout box. So we need to add in the callout box into our mockup. I'm going to tab those over so we can see this a little bit better full screen. So let's go ahead and start to work on this area. Now, if we jump back to our HTML, we don't have the HTML yet for that callout box. We just barely finished off our home boxes. So we're going to do this callout box in a div. So we'll just say div, we'll say class equals callout, and we'll close down that div. Now, if we look at our mockup, our callout box, our callout box is made up of this outer div, which is a background. We have a header, we have a span, and we also have this image for an image tag. So we need all of those elements to be inside of our HTML as well. So let's go ahead and add those inside of our callout. And we'll go ahead and start with the image, the button. So the button is going to be an image. So we'll say image source equals, and then alt equals callout button. And that source, we saved out that button earlier. So let's jump back to our images folder and see exactly what we called that thing. And so this entire image here for this callout, we need to set for the callout box. And you can see the dimensions here. It's 558 by 73 is the size of that. So let's come back inside of here to our CSS and back down to the bottom. We're going to create the dot callout because we did a class this time. And whoops, I just forgot those dimensions. So it's going to be 558 by 73. So width 558, height 73, and the background dash image is going to be images slash, and then the name of this image, it's called callout box BG is what I called mine. So dot JPEG, I think is what that is. Yep, .jpeg. So we'll save that, and let's come back and refresh our browser to see that callout box. Whoops, we need to save our HTML first. So let's save this HTML that we have inside of here. Let's actually delete this image. We don't need this quite yet. Save that. So there's that callout box, and that's looking pretty good. Now you can see it bumps right up against this text, so we probably want to add a top margin to this callout to push it down a little bit. So come back down here to our callout. Let's say margin dash top. Let's just say 50 pixels for now. We're going to adjust that actually in a minute anyway. So that'll push it down a little bit. And that's looking pretty good. In order to center this object, we're going to say margin 0 auto. 0 space auto. We'll save and refresh that. Now that centers up that box, but that overrides that. So we're going to delete the margin top and switch this to 50 pixels. So we have a 50 pixel top and bottom margin, and then auto on the left and right, which centers it. Now 50 pixels might be a hair big, but we can adjust that in just a minute. All right, so now that we have this, we just need to add the text for our button inside of here, and we also need to add in the header and the span. So back to our HTML, let's add that code. So down in here to our callout box, we'll add an anchor tag. So we'll say anchor tag href equals $sign, because this isn't going to go anywhere quite yet. And we'll call this guy beam me up. So this is going to be the button text for our button there. And then we're going to have a header 2 tag. And let's see, what did we call this back in our Photoshop? Fancy callout box. We'll close that header 2, and we'll do a span tag. Save some cache. We'll do cache the web way. How's that? Save some cache now. 50% off. All right, and then we'll close the span. And let's save that and come back here and refresh. So we have our text, we have our header 2, and we have our span. And we need to add all the CSS to flesh all this out and align it just right inside of our callout box. And we'll do that in the next video.